So we've talked quite a bit about Software Freedom Day, but that's not the only day that is under digital freedoms. You also have the Hardware Freedom Day and the Document Freedom Day. Do you want to
Yeah,
talk a bit more about what those are for anyone who might be interested?
sure. Okay. Well, those are bec- basically because we don't have manpower enough to
Mhm,
uh, to 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 put the same weight behind them.
mhm,
Uh, but Document Freedom Day is about international standards, about open standards, open document formats,
mhm, mhm,
and exchangeability of data. So the Document Foundation is very inspiring on that front. But you also have like the more technical level open standards like Sparkle, JSON. These are equally important, and
mhm.
maybe even more important nowadays. But I mean, the fact that we're using open standards, and I mean, I was so happy when Germany last week announced that in their Bundes whatever, I don't speak German,
Mhm.
their IT policy, ODF is now the required document format.
Yes. Someone did send me that link. Actually, this one.
It was
Yes,
also on the blog of the Document Foundations
yes,
also
yes.
talked about it. It made me so happy because that's baby steps, but it's so great. But if you look into if you dive into that legislation,
Mm,
you'll see that they also very much talk about open standards for API, open standards for database interconnectivity.
mhm,
So it's not only about that document format, but it's really the whole thing
mm, mm, mm.
is very much more focused on being open, um, which really made me happy. Um, so Document Freedom Day is about being able to pick up a file that got saved 25 years ago and still being able to read it
Mhm, mhm.
in a reliable way. Um, and that's so equally important. And then Harder Freedom Day, this is maybe something that's a little bit underrated
Mm.
because we all think about our cloud infrastructure, and a cloud is fluffy and soft. So I mean, a cloud is something abstract,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah.
a cloud is also a bunch of chips sitting on on a board
Mhm,
running a firmware, and on this lower level, if you want to have the same freedoms, the same integrity, the same certainty that you can access the stuff,
mhm, mhm,
you will also have to be able to know for sure that your hardware is on the same level.
mhm,
So Hardware Freedom Day is about celebrating free hardware, open hardware, um, and that event happens in April. Next one is April 18th.
mhm.
So if you want to organize it, especially hackerspaces, maybe go ahead, be my guest, do some Arduino workshops, give a talk, do a challenge. Use open data and make like all kinds of stuff. I mean, for example, what I find very I'm not sure if I find it amusing or disturbing is that um, we all like how cloud
Mm.
data, how if our data goes to the cloud, I mean our weather module or our doorbell or our uh, loyalty card from the supermarket, it all goes into some app that it stores its data in the cloud.
Mhm, mhm,
But why does this cloud have to be someone else's cloud? I mean, I've been playing with the idea of haven't had the time because I have a squirrel brain, but I playing with the idea of creating an app that scans my loyalty card
mm,
for the supermarket and stores it in my next cloud.
mm,
So in my cloud, instead of in the cloud of the app.
mm, mm,
But let's take it to the next step. It's actually the next cloud instance of the hackerspace. So if other people also put in their loyalty card for the same supermarket, it will just every time I arrive at the shop, show them a random card. So
mm.
I will be polluting the data set of the supermarket because I don't want today I'm buying diapers. Next month, my colleague is buying diapers. So who has the baby? I don't know.
Mm.
So let's just randomize that data set and hack the system. Just turn the thing around and let the cloud be your own cloud.
Mhm.
And use the benefits of this cloudification. I mean, if you interconnect your data and you say, I want to share my weather data with a weather map, go ahead and send out the anonymized version. And this way, I'm the one in control.
Mhm.
And I decide what I share and what I won't share. But in first instance, an app should store its data in my cloud.
Mhm.
And then I also have the benefits of it being outside of my house. I don't have to be at home to access my loyalty cards and see how much points I have saved, etc.
Mhm.
But if I can then use open hardware, open specs, open free software, then this whole ecosystem becomes stronger.
Mm.
And then I can put a sensor on the roof of my house, store the data reliably in my own cloud in an open format, and share it through open software with the community.
Mhm.
And the three connect to each other. And I've been playing with the idea. We have been discussing this idea because of our limited manpower, but also because, basically, Document Freedom Day and Hardware Freedom Day have 5 events for the moment. The same people who would also organize it if we said nothing,
Right.
because they just love the event, and because they already do it. And how about we just make like one event, Digital Freedom Day, because in essence, you cannot talk about hardware freedom without open standards. You cannot talk about hardware freedom without without software either, and you cannot run software without hardware. And so these three, they're like, it's almost religious. They're a trinity, and they're the holy trinity of open source. And if we use this and just celebrate a Digital Freedom Day. So that was my idea. I launched to free up some space,
Mhm.
but there was a lot of reaction because people were sad, because then you would reduce it to one event,
Mm.
and it would. It's a good thing to have the focus on those three aspects of its own,
Mm.
because they are very different, but they complement each other.
Right.
And
I
so
guess if you split it down to one, then you know, when you have these 3 separate events, they happen at 3 different times in the year. So if it's down to one, then it's either you do it one time a year, or you then like do. I guess you could do Digital Freedom Day multiple times a year then, but then maybe that starts to cannibalize the main, like the one where most people do it. So there's not really.
yeah.
I can see both perspectives here.
Yes, same. So so we ended up with let's focus on Software Freedom Day because that's the one that's rolling.
Mhm.
But let's keep in mind that those other two, one can't live without the other. I mean, it's if you kill one, they die, all 3 of them. So we need to give them the same love, even if they don't get the same attention. And so that's why I said in the beginning also, if I dream big, this event will spread out to also Hardware Freedom Day and Document Freedom Day, because these are equally important, actually.
No, I do agree, and I think you know you talked about the cloud before, and I this sort of like links into the earlier thing you were talking about with a lot of this free as in beer software sort of cannibalized what existed in the FOSS space for a long time. A lot of this cloud stuff, even if it is paid, it's very convenient, and a lot of people are very willing to sort of trade away some of their freedom for the extra convenience you get of, you know, oh, my data is being synced across all my devices and it's backed up, but I don't have to deal with it. It's backed up on some magical cloud somewhere. I know that if I use iCloud, my data is going to be available anywhere I can access iCloud. And especially if you're not someone who's very technical, I can see the appeal in having that, even if you understand as someone who is like why that may not be the best thing for your data privacy and things like that. So trying to sell to someone why that maybe a bit less convenience is better for you in other ways can be kind of difficult.